What if one of Hollywood's biggest movie stars secretly helped invent the technology you're using right now? Every time you connect to Wi-Fi, use Bluetooth, or follow directions with GPS, you are benefiting from an idea created more than 80 years ago. But here's the surprising part. The woman behind that invention wasn't a scientist working in a laboratory. She was one of Hollywood's most famous actresses. Welcome to TalePath English. If you enjoy discovering incredible true stories while improving your English, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to TalePath English. Today, we're uncovering the extraordinary story of Hedy Lamarr, a woman whose greatest role wasn't on the movie screen, but in changing the future of communication forever.
The story begins in Vienna, Austria, on November 9th, 1914. Hedy Lamarr was born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler into a well-educated Jewish family. From an early age, she loved asking questions. Her father often took long walks with her through the city. As they explored streets, bridges, and factories, he explained how machines worked. Those conversations sparked something extraordinary. While many children dreamed of becoming actors or explorers, young Hedy became fascinated by how the world worked. She wanted to understand engines, machines, and inventions. No one could have imagined that this curious little girl would one day help shape modern communication technology. As Hedy grew older, another passion captured her attention. She fell in love with acting. Her remarkable beauty and natural confidence quickly attracted the attention of European filmmakers. In 1933, at just 18 years old, she appeared in the Czech film Ecstasy. The movie attracted worldwide attention. Almost overnight, Hedy became one of Europe's most talked-about young actresses. But fame came with a price. People admired her appearance, yet very few noticed her intelligence. Many assumed she was simply another beautiful face on the screen. They had no idea how much she loved learning, or how curious she remained about science and technology. Everything changed in 1937. Hedy left Europe and traveled to the United States. During her journey across the Atlantic Ocean, she met Louis B. Mayer, the powerful head of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, better known as MGM. He immediately recognized her star potential. Soon after arriving in America, she signed a contract with the famous Hollywood studio. It was also during this time that she adopted a new name, Hedy Lamarr. Throughout the late 1930s and 1940s, she starred in successful films alongside some of Hollywood's biggest actors. Newspapers called her the most beautiful woman in the world. Photographers followed her everywhere. Audiences admired her elegance. But behind the glamorous red carpets and flashing cameras, Hedy carried a secret. She wasn't interested only in acting. Whenever she had free time, she spent hours reading scientific books, studying engineering ideas, and sketching inventions. The world saw a movie star. Hedy saw herself as someone who wanted to solve real problems. By 1939, the world had changed dramatically. The Second World War had begun. Across Europe, cities were being destroyed. Thousands of lives were being lost. Having fled Austria only a few years earlier, Hedy watched the war with growing concern. She wanted to do more than entertain audiences in movie theaters. She wanted to help. Because of her earlier experiences in Europe and her interest in engineering, she understood something that many people did not. modern wars were no longer fought only with soldiers. They were also fought with technology. Hedy began spending her evenings reading scientific journals, studying military equipment, and thinking about how inventions could save lives. She wasn't searching for fame. She was searching for a solution. Around this time, Hedy met an unexpected collaborator. His name was George Antheil. He was not an engineer. He was an American composer, famous for writing experimental music. At first glance, the two seemed to have little in common. One was a Hollywood actress. The other was a musician. But both shared something far more important. They loved solving difficult problems. Together, they began discussing one of the greatest military challenges of the war. Radio-controlled torpedoes could help protect ships, but there was one serious weakness. Enemy forces could easily interfere with the radio signal, preventing the torpedoes from reaching their targets. Hedy and George wondered, what if the signal could constantly change its frequency, making it almost impossible to block? That simple question would lead to one of the most remarkable inventions of the 20th century. After months of discussion and experimentation, Hedy Lamarr and George Antheil developed an extraordinary idea. Instead of sending a radio signal on a single frequency, what if the signal could rapidly switch between many different frequencies? If both the transmitter and the receiver changed frequencies at exactly the same time, enemy forces would have an incredibly difficult time blocking or intercepting the signal. Today, this idea is known as frequency hopping spread spectrum. It was an innovative solution to a dangerous wartime problem. On August 11th, 1942, Hedy Lamarr and George Antheil received U.S. patent number 2292387 for their invention. It was an incredible achievement. A Hollywood actress and a composer had created a groundbreaking communication system. You might expect the invention to have changed the war immediately, but that didn't happen. Military officials believed the system was too complicated to use. As a result, Hedy and George's invention was never put into active service during World War II. For years, the patent received very little attention. Hedy continued acting in Hollywood. Most people remembered her beauty, not her brilliant mind. It seemed that one of the most creative ideas of the war had been quietly forgotten. Or had it? Years passed. Technology continued to advance. Engineers kept searching for better ways to send information through the air without interference. Gradually, they realized that the same principle Hedy Lamarr and George Antheil had patented decades earlier could solve many of these challenges. Their frequency hopping concept inspired later developments in secure wireless communication. Over time, that technology contributed to the systems that made modern wireless communication possible. Today, technologies such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS rely on ideas that grew from the same scientific principles. Millions of people use these technologies every day, often without realizing that one of Hollywood's brightest stars helped lay part of the foundation. Sometimes, the greatest inventions are simply waiting for the world to catch up. For many years, Hedy Lamarr's scientific contribution remained largely unknown. Most people remembered her as a glamorous Hollywood actress. Few knew about the remarkable invention she had helped create. But history eventually caught up with her. In the 1990s, engineers, historians, and technology experts began recognizing the importance of her work. In 1997, Hedy Lamarr and George Antheil received the Electronic Frontier Foundation Pioneer Award,
honoring their groundbreaking contribution to communication technology. By then, Hedy was in her 80s. After decades of being overlooked, she finally received the recognition she deserved. Today, Hedy Lamarr is remembered for far more than her film career. She proved that curiosity and creativity can appear in unexpected places, and that one brilliant idea can help shape the future. More than 80 years after her patent, her pioneering work is still connected to the development of modern wireless technology. Her story reminds us that innovation often begins with one simple question: what if there were a better way? Hedy Lamarr's greatest contribution wasn't on the movie screen. It was an idea, one that helped inspire the connected world we live in today. Now it's your turn. If you had the opportunity to invent one technology that could improve people's lives in the future, what would you create and why? I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching this story on TalePath English. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep following the path.